Hey everyone, we're looking at Learning Target 2. Learning Target 2 is on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing positive and negative numbers. And in the Level 2 style question, you have a mixture of addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and you need to be able to do this accurately. In part A, I see we have a negative plus a positive. And of course, when we have a negative and a positive, you actually subtract the two numbers. So 37 minus 14 is 23. And because 37 is larger than 14 and 37 was negative, my result is negative 23. As we go through, we can keep doing our arithmetic. Negative 42 plus 54. Again, a negative and a positive means subtract. So 54 minus 42 is 12. Part C. In Part C, we have a negative 37 and a negative 8, and we're adding. So now we're actually going to be adding because we have a negative and a negative. And 37 and 8 are going to add up to negative 45. In Part D, negative 23 minus 6. Okay, now I see we're subtracting, so I'm going to change that to adding the opposite. So I'm actually going to do negative 23 plus negative 6, which is negative 29. 13 minus 17, I might want to change to 13 plus negative 17, which is going to give me negative 4. Negative 9 plus positive 15 is going to give me 6. Negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. Negative 9 times negative 6. Now two negatives are going to make a positive. 9 times 6 is 54. Ten times negative 6 is a positive times a negative, which is a negative 60. Negative 42 divided by 6, a negative divided by a positive is negative, so this is going to give me negative 7. In Part K, we have a negative divided by a negative, which is positive. 60 divided by 3 is 20. And positive divided by negative is negative, and 56 divided by 8 is 7. And that completes the Level 2 style question. Now, in the Level 3 style question, we have a rather lengthy looking algebraic expression. It contains two variables, and we have some absolute value bars in here. We're going to have to follow the order of operations, so we're going to take this one step at a time. I'm going to start by just replacing the x's and the y's with negative 6 and 6 respectively. So we've got negative 4 times 2 times negative 6 minus 9 minus negative 3 times 6 plus 2, all divided by 7 times negative 6 plus 44, plus the absolute value of negative 7y, which is negative 7 times 6. Alright, so now I've got to follow the order of operations. I'm going to look inside all of my parentheses. I'm going to start right up here. I have negative 12 when I multiply these, and negative 12 and negative 9 is negative 21, and negative 21 times negative 4 is going to be positive 84. So I'm going to write 84. And then I'm subtracting. Now I'm focused inside these parentheses. I have a negative 3 times negative 6, which is negative 18, and negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16. So I'm subtracting a negative 16, which is of course the same thing as adding 16. And I'm dividing by, as we focus on the denominator, here I have negative 42. And negative 42 plus 44 is 2. And I still have the absolute values here. I have to add that on. 7 times 6 is 42. The absolute value of negative 42 is 42. So now we have a little bit of arithmetic left to do. 84 and 16 adds up to 100. 100 divided by 2 is 50, and 50 and 42 is 92. So I get as a final answer 92. So that was lots of arithmetic. The A-level or the level 4 style question: an investor purchases 50 shares of a stock at $3.50 per share. The stock loses 25 cents each day for 3 days. What is the total value of the stock after 3 days? Well, what we're going to want is to multiply our share times its cost in order to get its values. I'm going to write that down. The number of shares multiplied by the cost per share gives the total value. Now we have 50 shares, but our cost per share is going down. Initially our cost per share was $3.50, but it's been losing money. It's been losing 25 cents every day for 3 days, so I want to subtract 25 cents 3 times. So now I've got to follow the order of operations. 25 cents times 3 is 75 cents, and $3.50 take away 75 cents is $2.75. So we have 50 shares that are now only worth $2.75 each. And $2.75 times 50 is $137.50. So what is the total value of the stock after 3 days? It is down to $137.50. Hey everyone, we are looking at the pretest for Learning Target 3. It says, simplify the expression 9 plus 5 times x minus 7. Here we can see parentheses. In order to simplify that, we have to use the distributive property, just like it says in our learning target. So when I see those parentheses, I know that I need to multiply that 5 by both the x and the negative 7. And when I do that, I get 9 plus 5x minus 5 times 7, which is 35. And then I combine like terms. 5x is the only x in the question, so I know it appears in my answer. And then 9 and 35 are like terms. I'm going to treat that as a negative 35. And negative 35 plus 9 is going to be negative 26. So I've got minus 26. Part B is similar, only with a division. As I write this out, I'm going to have 7x divided by 7 plus 63 divided by 7. And then I better distribute this subtraction as well, giving me plus 3x minus 8. Now 7 divided by 7 is 1, so I get 1x plus 9 plus 3x minus 8. And if we look at our like terms, the 1x and the 3x make 4x, and the 9 and the negative 8 make 1. So these two questions complete our level 2 style question. Our level 3 style question is a bit more complicated. Here you're going to have to write your own model. We have a question in the homework that is fairly similar to this. It says each month you use the data plan on your phone. The cost is $40 for the first 4 gigabytes and an extra $20 per gigabyte for any data over 4. We're supposed to write an equation that gives the monthly cost C as a function of the data D in gigabytes when the usage exceeds 4. That means we are assuming that D is bigger than 4, and we can be adding on these $20 in the first place. And because it says I'm supposed to give C in terms of D, I know my rule is going to start C equals. And now I'm just going to start adding all the things that I have to pay. I have to pay $40 no matter what. But I'm also paying $20 for anything that I go over. Now my entire data usage isn't overages because I get 4 gigabytes included. So the only thing that is over is the stuff that's above and beyond 4. So I only want this 20 multiplied by the part of D that is larger than 4, namely D minus 4. And that's part A. Part B is to simplify this expression, which means I should use the distributive property. I get 40 plus 20D minus 20 times 4, which is 80. Or C equals 20D minus 40 after you combine the 40 and the negative 80. So here is my simplified expression. Now we have our level 4 style problem. It says in 2013 in the summer you used 4 gigabytes in June, 6 gigabytes in July, and 3 gigabytes in August. It's asking us in part A how much, which summer did you use more data? Well, so let's look at these two. 2013, we just read that. 2013 used 4, 6, and 3, which adds up to 13. In 2014, we used 4 in June, 4 in June, we used 4 in July, and we used 5 in August. And 4 and 4 make 8, 8 and 5 is also 13. So we can answer our question now, which summer did you use more? Well, we can say that they were the same. Now, part B is a much more interesting question. Which summer did you spend more money on data? Well, we're going to do kind of the same calculation. I'm going to add up money that I'm spending instead of gigabytes that I'm using. And remember, according to our model, we're paying $40 plus $20 for any overages. And overages are stuff that goes over 4. So I'm looking for using more than 4. So when I look at June, I see I only used 4, so that's simply $40. In July, though, I used 6, which meant I spent the $40 plus 2 extra at $20 a pop. And then in August, I only used 3, which isn't over, so I'm still paying the 40. And if I do the arithmetic here, order of operations, I better do the 2 times 20 first. That's 40. 40 and 40 and 40 and 40 is $160. 2014, on the other hand, if we look at June, we used 4. That's just regular price. In July, we used 4. That's regular price. In August, we used 5, which is the 40 plus only 1 extra. So now I have 20 times 1 is 20, plus 40 is 60, plus 40 is 100, plus 40 is $140 total. So here we can see that we spent more in 2013. And that should make sense because if you look at what was actually over In 2013, you went over by 2 gigabytes, and in 2014, you only went over by 1. So you end up spending more because you went over by more in 2013.